Hey there everyone, it is 80 here once again with another game of StarCraft 2. This will be a Zerg versus Terran here on the Shattered Temple, and this will actually be a game from MLG Columbus, which was a couple of weeks ago. But the reason I am casting this game is because it is featuring the red Zerg spawning here at the 7 o'clock. His name is FXOtgun. I was asked by one viewer to cast a game or two of his, so I will comply, and indeed I searched some games online, and this is one of the most recent ones I could find. Little info about T-Gun: he is ranked 185th in the North American Grandmaster League with 192 wins along with 181 losses, which is right around a 51.5 win rate for T-Gun. And his opponent for this game, this will be a best of 3 series. I'm not sure if this is game 1 or 2. I do have both, but his opponent will be xiNizzy, and he is ranked 8th in the Templar Oscar division of the North American Masters League with 112 wins along with 113 losses, which is a 49.8% win rate for our Terran. Once again, this is one of the best of 3 series from the recent MLG Columbus, and this is from the open bracket, the winner's bracket still, I believe. So the loser of this series is not out of the tournament, but the winner will be in a much more comfortable position as these players have spawned in far locations here on Shattered Temple, a pretty large map, and these players will have quite a distance to cover if they decide to go up by ground. We have Nizzy now getting his barracks up. He is deciding to not wall off against his Zerg opponent, so something that you usually see when you're playing a Zerg and you are a Terran is getting that supply depot and barracks up here at the ramp, but he has instead opted to put that barracks all the way next to his command center, so we'll see what he has in mind for this game, as T-Gun has indeed chosen to go fast expand, getting that very soon, right around 14 or 15 supply before anything else, I believe. Yes, that hatchery is the first building that T-Gun has gotten. Also, a little more about this cast. I was asked by another viewer to turn up the volume because it was getting lost and drowned out by my lovely voice, so I have turned up the volume a little bit. I'm a little wary of doing so because one of the things that I personally hate during watching casts is when the noise drowns out the person talking. So I've taken it up a little bit higher, and if it still needs to go a little bit higher, please let me know and I will continue to adjust the volume as necessary. And every little thing counts, so if you see anything during this cast that you want me to do differently, as we see T-Gun being a butthead and taking that extractor for just a second. At any rate, if there's anything in these casts that you would like to see me do differently, please do not hesitate to let me know. I would love the feedback, and I will do my best to try to accommodate any sort of requests that come my way, as we see Nizzy putting up another barracks down here closer to the low ground so we can get those Reapers out right away, as he is indeed making a Reaper with this original barracks. So he's going to go with that Reaper harass. We'll see just how much damage he is able to do to the mineral lines of T-Gun, as we do see the hatchery just now spawning, and drones are transferring from the main, one deciding he'd rather go back to his original home, getting a little homesick, I believe, was that drone right there. Anyway, if you want to see anything differently, please let me know. I've said that a couple of times now. Also, if you like this video, if you like any of my casts, please also don't hesitate to let me know that, because I would love the feedback as well. And at the same time, if you do enjoy my channel, please subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And let's get back into the game now, as we see the first Reaper making his way across the map, those lovely jetpacks streaming on fire. I never really understood why Reapers couldn't just walk when they were going on level ground, but he is going to be jumping into a horde of Zerglings, and by horde I do mean 3 Zerglings with 2 more joining, and that Reaper does not make it out alive, so a little bit of miss micro by our Terran player here, losing that first Reaper very, very easily, all things considered, to just a couple of Zerglings. He has one more Reaper on the way right now. It does look like he is going to be continuing this Reaper harass for a little bit longer, as he is getting a factory up as well as a 3rd barracks. He actually has a tech lab on both of his barracks, so we'll see what he has in mind as this game continues on into about the 5.5 minute mark. That factory just now finishing, and is going to be getting a Hellion out, so we're seeing the Terran player try to get some harass online, but T-Gun does have static defenses in his mineral lines. He has a spine crawler there, and actually nothing in the main, but he's more concerned about his natural being attacked than his main, so he does have 1 spine crawler, also a queen there ready to assist. He has a couple of Zerglings on the field as well, so we see Nizzy actually getting nitro packs for his Reaper, so he is actually getting pretty heavily involved in this Reaper play right now. He has 2 on the field with 2 more on the way from these 2 tech lab barracks, and is also getting that nitro packs movement speed upgrade for those Reapers. He has 1 Hellion on the field. It has 1 kill from a Zergling that just kind of poked its head up here. Does he have more Hellions on the way? Nope, he is actually diverting all of his resources right now to getting these Reapers on the field. He has 4 right now. I completely missed. He has 3 right now, rather, and he has another one on the way about to get done. So we'll see if he's able to muster up these Reapers and get something done in the way of harassment to T-Gun, who's kind of just enjoyed a very leisurely pace so far this game, defending that first Reaper very successfully. He has his Evo Chamber on already, so he's going to be ready to get some upgrades. He also has his Roach Warren just now getting underway, as these 3 Reapers have taken the road less traveled, and they do find these destructible rocks, but of course they don't care because they can hop right down that cliff, and it is right now 3 Reapers against 3 Queens. Not the best situation if you are a Reaper right now, trying to poke their heads in. These Queens are just trolling around, making sure they cannot do any damage. They will divert their attention up into the main, as they're going to be jumping straight into Zerglings once again. Well played by T-Gun right there. Love to see those Zerglings very nicely positioned, but they do all get taken out, as these Reapers were able to kite them and take them out very effectively, having swung all the way around to the mineral line, but the Queens are still playing the linebackers, trying to intercept these Reapers and make sure they cannot attack the quarterbacks, which are the drones. I guess drones really aren't quarterbacks, but I mean, the analogy degraded, I'm sorry. We'll get back into the game, as these Reapers do take out a creep tumor that was spawning, so unfortunate for T-Gun right there, but not the greatest loss in the world, as he was able to prevent any sort of drone loss, any sort of mineral line harass, so very well defended by T-Gun, as these Reapers are forced to leave. We do have stim packs being researched by the Terran player, along with the first siege tank now getting underway, along with siege tech as well. So he's transitioning into quite a resource-heavy build. Marines, Marauders, Hellions, siege tanks, Reapers are now on the field for xiNizzy. Of course, he has instead kind of cut Reaper and Hellion production in favor of Marines, Marauders, and siege tanks. Going to be trying to transition into a more normal, robust army rather than just that harass-heavy build he was going early in this game. Going to be poking his head in once again, able to take that creep tumor out just before it burrowed, so very well done there. Of course, you always love it when you can take out creep tumors because you prevent that Zerg player from getting the lovely creep all the way across the map, as he would love to do. There's one creep tumor out here, so scared for his life, as all of his cousins and brothers and sisters were already decimated. Now we have a bunch of roaches and queens as well, for good measure, going to be repelling this Terran army. So the Zerg player has very nicely defended his base in the early game and was able to ride that great micro rather, into good macro, and is getting quite the army built up right now. Is the Zerg player going to be destroying these rocks, because he might as well do something with those units? The Terran player's army is rallied right here in the middle of the map, while in the way of upgrades, the Zerg player is getting that roach speed and also metabolic boost for Zerglings, so he's getting a speedier army on the way right now, as the Terran player is looking like he decides that this might be the time to strike, because he needs to do something fast before the Zerg player gets out of control, gets the ability to macro like crazy, because you hate it when you're playing Zerg and they can just re-macro their army up right away, as we have T-Gun going to be getting that 3rd hatchery up shortly, just now getting that underway. We have xiNizzy putting up some missile turrets and bunkers just outside the spread of this creep, so he's going to be setting up an advanced base camp right here in the face of T-Gun's creep. Of course, he can't see this going on because that creep provides some vision. We have scans going up just to destroy those creep tumors once again, and this creep tumor now is the lone survivor, so he's very stressed. And now the Zerg army is coming up here, trying to make the Terran army leave. The roaches overextend themselves a bit and do take a couple of hits from the one sieged tank. Terran army is just kind of setting up camp right here. It is a healthy composition of Reapers, Marines, and Marauders, as well as a couple of Hellions thrown in just for good measure. We get the supply count. T-Gun is a little bit ahead right now, about 17 supply, and xiNizzy is supply capped as well at the moment, as we see quite a few roaches for T-Gun just kind of chilling right here behind the spine crawler line of defense. So xiNizzy will have to muster up quite the attack in the near future to prevent T-Gun from being able to overrun him once this army is overmatched. He's taking advantage of that. Anyway, we see the engagement happening right here in the middle. Roach is getting a nice a nice concave right here all the way from this cliff to that cliff, able to attack this force with full attacking from the roaches. So very nicely played by T-Gun. He will, it looks like, be able to clean this up. Roaches doing a ton of damage to these Marines and Marauders. Nothing in the way of upgrades, but just superior numbers, able to take out all of those forces, make them leave, make them kind of head back to this little base camp he had set up. I was saying that xiNizzy was taking advantage of the creep recession to set up some buildings, but of course that was neutralized by the attack from T-Gun, and now Zerglings are running in, trying to get us around that tank. Will take the tank out, and now xiNizzy is in some trouble here in the front, as roaches are free to just go off on Marines and Marauders and will take all of them out. XINizzy is still continuing to make some bunkers up here as T-Gun decides, screw that, I'm going to go up here around and try to cut off some reinforcements. As we see this Marauder trying to stim to get past them, but instead only made it easier for the roaches to kill him off. As we have roaches going up into XINizzy's base, still something in the way of an attacking base camp for XINizzy. But this siege tank, so sad, didn't even make it more than 10 feet out of the factory before he got taken out, as XINizzy is in some serious trouble now. Roaches are right up his ramp. He only has 3 Marines here to defend his base. Supply depot goes down. These Marines will get taken out as well. He has a couple of Marines and Marauders just running like crazy over here. Not sure where he's going with those because they won't be able to do much damage at all. This reinforcements being cut off completely by T-Gun. Very well played by him here. And well forced XINizzy to throw up the GG, well played, and T-Gun always courteous, does say thanks. Oh, apparently this was game 2, and indeed T-Gun did advance to the next round in this tournament. So it looks like T-Gun took this best of 3 in 2 games, so well played by the Zerg player there, and I hope that you guys enjoyed that, and I might cast a second game of this series. Of course, it would actually be game number 1, and the suspense would be killed since we know that T-Gun wins. But I might do that, or I might go on to other games. We'll see what happens, and whatever happens, I will see you guys there.